Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at iOS 26 Beta 8. So the likely final actual beta of iOS 26 is here. And on my device, my iPhone SE 2nd generation, it's 1.79 gigabytes. It can be upwards of 10 or 11 gigabytes on newer devices though. So go ahead and install it right now and then we'll take a look at everything that's new. Now there may or may not have been a very minimal change to Liquid Glass this time around. The only change I did see online was in a very specific menu in Apple Music, and I wasn't actually able to find this menu, and I'll scroll through here just so you can see it. I can't pull up a side-by-side comparison, unfortunately, because I didn't have time to record that prior to updating, but you can just see as I scroll through here, it seems similar to other betas. As far as I feel about Liquid Glass in general, it's nice, but it still feels more like frosted glass. It feels sort of liquidy depending on where, like kind of right there, as you can see at that toolbar at the bottom, but other than that, that's what it looks like. When it's over text, it looks more frosted. And I guess that's for readability, so I like it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I feel like some of the earlier versions of it, like Beta 1 or even Beta 4 or 5, it looks better. The problem was just readability. It just kind of ruined it, and that's why they didn't keep it. So let's go over some things that were not changed, because there were a lot of things that were not changed in this beta, which is to be expected since it's one of the last betas, if not the last beta in iOS 26, the development cycle before the RC build. But you can see these app opening animations, they're about the same as they were previously in Beta 7. Now, Beta 7 or Beta 6 didn't even add this to older iPhones, so what you're seeing here is actually the same animation speed as iOS 18. So it looks like they're not going to add this to older iPhones with the ones with the home button, like the iPhone SE. Another thing that was not changed was the camera scrolling direction. That's the same here as it was in Beta 7. I think most people online are fine with this, but in some past betas you get an option for this, and that's not the case here, again, as it's been in Beta 7. With it being late in the development cycle, there's not going to be too many new features, so we're mostly going to see bug fixes or API changes, or maybe a few quality of life improvements around the board, especially with like Liquid Glass, but other than that, you won't see very many new features or any even small changes. You're not going to see very many of them. It's going to be the same for the RC. That might be the final one. If all goes well, the final release should be the same as the RC, and there wouldn't be any changes beyond the RC unless an RC2 comes out. That stands for release candidate. It's supposed to be the final product that is put out for review before the final release is put out. Anyway, for the bug fixes and API changes, you can see some of them in the release notes. I'll link those in the description for you guys to see. Just keep in mind that a lot of them are from earlier betas, so they combine every change from every beta all into one release note. So even though it says Beta 8 release notes, those could be all the way back from Beta 1, and anything in between Beta 1 and Beta 7 as well. Just keep that in mind. You might want to search the internet for a simplified version. I will link the actual Apple release notes in the description for you guys to see though. One of the changes that was found in the release notes was that if you're in a messages conversation and you go to change the background, and you can see here, if you go to change the background, and I'll just set it to something different, and then you hit the confirm button and you immediately close the app, that would not save, and you go back in and it would not be the same as it was before. That was a bug before, and so now that is fixed. Now let's talk about performance. So I haven't used this very much, but from what I've seen so far, it seems to be quite a mixed bag. It doesn't seem very great. I don't think as good as it should be. It just really isn't that great. You could probably see my battery go down. You know, of course, it's different when you're seeing the video because of how I'm actually cutting. There's parts of it I'm cutting out, or some parts of it that I'm not recording or I'm planning instead. You can see the time at the top, and you get associated with the battery, but you can see only 2 minutes ago at 70%. Now keep in mind, it's an older iPhone. It has very bad battery health, around like 73%. It's not expected to be great, but it's still just not great. I feel like even on iOS 18, when I was using this daily, it was a decent amount, a considerable amount better than this. This is just not all that great. It was a little better in idle. In about 6 hours, it only went down like 10%, but that's still not ideal. So it is quite a bit better in idle. I think that improved from previous betas, but it's still not great. So you can see it's not going down right now, but you will see it go down if you haven't already. When I first updated, it went down 3% within a minute and a half. So that went down very quickly right as I finished updating, and it was very slow. And now it seems to be quite a bit faster, so that's improved, and so of course that's better. The thing is, right after I updated, it was kind of slow, and even now it just doesn't seem as quick. I mean, there's some areas that just I still see some lag if you can't see it. I mean, so I don't know if it's just gonna stay like this or if maybe Apple will figure this out. Again, you can expect this kind of stuff from older devices, but not this much, especially when you think right after a major redesign that maybe Apple would have fixed some of these issues, especially since they made it a point to focus on stability. So I'm just not really seeing that here. I don't know, maybe if it's not translating to older devices, I'm just really not sure what's going on here. You can see as of right now, in about 3 minutes or so, it stayed at the same battery life, 67%. It comes in waves. I think after I stop using the device for a long while, then I use it again, it goes down quite a bit. But then after I start using it, more and more, I keep the screen on for a longer time on end, it starts to flatten out as far as the battery life. Performance gets better too. Like I said, when I first updated, I actually updated the phone a couple days ago, and I didn't launch it until today. So there wasn't any updating going on in the background, but as soon as I turned on the phone, as soon as I entered my passcode, I could feel the back of the phone, right where the processor is, get very warm. Unusually warm, not like alarmingly warm, but still unusual. So I'm really not sure what's going on here. Just it feels off in general. The performance here, it really does feel off. If you've beta tested this, let me know what you think in the comments. This is just my opinion and my experience. It could vary quite a bit across devices, as well as what you have going on in your device, such as settings, how's your storage. There's so many other factors at play, but let me know what you guys think if you've beta tested this. And then back to performance, I just finished recording another segment or two. It was short, about 2, maybe 3 minutes long. The battery went down 3 to 4% again, and the back of the device is getting hot. Again, you can expect this from older devices, but this is just a little strange to me. I just feel like it would have been better in a different version. So again, and maybe more testing will need to be done to see actual analytics. This is just my first impression of it. So when should we expect the next beta for iOS 26 to come out? In my opinion, this is likely going to be the last beta 8 that is. We would likely see the RC build in 2 weeks. That would be around Monday, September 8th, or sometime that week. Now, usually this comes out right after the big event where Apple unveils their new iPhone models. You can see that right here. That's going to be on Tuesday, September 9th. So we should see that RC build coming out later that day. And as far as everything else, the public beta should already be out for this beta release, and then after the RC's release, we should see the final release the week of September 15th. So anytime that week, likely earlier. If I had to guess, it'd be on a Monday or a Tuesday. It's usually either those 2 days that Apple will release the final version of the big annual update. And then that's going to do it for today's video about beta 8. We won't see anything until the RC, which, like I said, it's not expected for another 2 weeks, maybe a little less depending on when this video is coming out. I may or may not do a video on the RC release. I definitely won't do one on the final release just because it's going to be the same as the RC. But if I do one, you guys will see it. If you want to stay updated on that, be sure to subscribe, turn notifications on. And then beyond that, I'm going to have plenty of product unboxings and other things having to do with our iOS and all kinds of those videos coming up. Be sure to be tuned in for that. And other than that, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later.